What's up, guys? This is Jimmy with Hifly Fitness, and today I want to talk to you about minimalist training and what it really means to train minimally and minimalistically, I should say. So one of the major misunderstandings of minimalist training is that it means to do the least amount of work possible because accessory movements are useless and all you need to do is focus on the compound movements and that's it. Get in and get out of the gym and you're good to go. Well, this is not what minimalist training really means. What it really means is doing the minimum amount of necessary work in order to get the maximum results out of the gym and ensure long-term progression and sufficient progression for the given athlete. For a novice athlete, this would mean performing the squat, bench, and deadlift and any other compound movements of incline press, military press, depending on their specific sport. For powerlifting, squat, bench, and deadlift would be the primary movements making up their program. Then they would fill the rest of the program with more volume with those movements and any accessory work that's needed to allow their squat, bench, and deadlift to progress. For example, if a novice athlete has scapular dyskinesis, so that means their shoulder blades are coming out of their sockets because the back muscles are too weak to hold them in place, this would prevent them from progressing on the bench press because they won't have the support needed and the tightness needed in their back to sufficiently progress at a certain weight. At some point, their back is going to become the limiting factor in the bench press. So in order to prevent that from happening, a minimalistic approach would be to add some sort of face pull or row movement to strengthen the muscles in the back to allow them to progress on the bench press. For an intermediate athlete, minimalistic training has a different meaning. Because minimalistic training is so dependent on the individual, it has a different meaning for an individual within the novice progression, within the novice class of an athlete, an intermediate athlete, and even an advanced athlete. So minimalistic training for an intermediate athlete means that primarily hopefully their weaknesses in their posture and their muscular weaknesses are primarily fixed. But there's going to be a need to increase volume through other means to directly progress on the primary movements of their workouts. So there comes a point where you need to start adding accessory work for, let's say, the deadlift. So for me, my accessory deadlift movement is a stiff-legged deadlift. The reason why this allows me to progress on the deadlift is because the limiting factor in my deadlift is now turning into my lower back and maybe my hamstrings. So even though I do sumo deadlifts, I still need to have a strong lower back and strong hamstrings, so I added stiff-legged deadlifts, or I should say my coach added stiff-legged deadlifts to increase the progression on my sumo deadlift. I am technically an intermediate athlete as I'm increasing weekly on my lifts. So volume is something that is highly prioritized as well on the main movements. So as I'm peaking for my meet, I'm increasing my volume and intensity and then slowly tapering off volume and increasing intensity. And then eventually it's going to be pure intensity so that I can peak for my meet. So that's another example of how you can train minimalistically in order to maximize your results. Peaking, for example, is one of those ways. You peak for each of your lifts. So specificity is highly emphasized as well. So specificity, volume, and required accessory work are all that makes up minimalistic training. You do what you need to do in order to succeed on the platform or on the stage or on the soccer field or on the football field or on the basketball court or wherever your strength training is being directly applied to.